On September 9, 2025, China faced a dual crisis due to the impact of a tropical storm and record-breaking floods, causing significant damage in many regions, particularly in the southern and northern parts of the country. Typhoon Tapah made landfall in Guangdong province on September 10th, followed by heavy rains and flooding that continued to devastate northern regions, including the capital Beijing. On September 10th, Tropical Storm Tapah hit the city of Taishan in Guangdong, with winds reaching 110 km/h, about 68 mph. The storm quickly disrupted activities in many areas, forcing over 200,000 people to evacuate. Emergency crews were rapidly deployed to handle the situation, clear blocked roads, and restore power lines. Meanwhile, heavy rains caused flooding in several cities, and public transportation had to be temporarily suspended. Hong Kong also faced significant damage as the storm passed through on the same day. The Hong Kong government issued a typhoon signal number 8, the third highest level in the city's warning system. Strong winds knocked down trees and shattered windows, causing approximately 100 flight cancellations and complete disruption of public transportation. Ferry and bus services were halted, and schools, government offices, and financial markets were closed. Macau also experienced similar emergency measures, with casinos closing their doors, ferry services halting, and temporary shelters being set up for residents in low-lying neighborhoods that experienced minor flooding. While the south dealt with the storm, northern China was facing another crisis. The extended rainy season caused severe flooding, destroying crops, damaging roads and bridges, and inundating many residential areas. Heavy rainfall persisted for several weeks, and some areas in Beijing recorded rainfall amounts that would typically be expected over the course of a year. In response to the emergency, the Chinese government mobilized a large-scale relief effort. Temporary shelters were established across Guangdong and neighboring provinces, and thousands of rescue workers were deployed to assist the affected population. Meanwhile, in Hong Kong and Macau, emergency teams cleared fallen trees, restored power, and reopened roads once the winds subsided. In the north, military units and civilian volunteers were sent to reinforce riverbanks and help residents stranded by rising waters. This dual crisis, tropical storm in the south and record rains in the north, has highlighted the immense challenges China faces in managing natural disasters amid increasingly extreme and unpredictable climate conditions. The ongoing storms and heavy rains have shown the vulnerability of communities, particularly in urban and rural areas. For millions of Chinese citizens, the events of September 8th and 9th serve as a harsh reminder of nature's power and the lack of preparedness of communities for sudden weather changes. Families in Guangdong are returning to flooded neighborhoods, while residents in Beijing remain on edge as more rainfall is forecast in the coming days. The challenges are far from over, and with the storm season still ongoing, authorities are encouraging people to remain vigilant and well prepared. Now, as China embarks on its recovery and relief efforts, it does so under the shadow of two simultaneous disasters that have tested both its emergency systems and the resilience of its people. The storm and floods have exposed gaps in infrastructure and underscored the urgent need for long-term strategies to deal with increasingly harsh climate fluctuations. Thank you for watching Extreme Weather. where we analyze the most severe natural events. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps keep our channel running. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss any clear and timely reports. Please note that some footage in this video may be used for illustration and may not exactly reflect the events described. See you in the next video. Stay informed and stay safe.
The world changing disasters are no longer rare, they are reality. You cannot predict the next earthquake, flood, or wildfire, but you can choose how ready you are. This channel isn't just here to inform, it's here to wake people up before it's too late. So if you're watching this now, take it as a sign. Don't just scroll, don't just watch. Subscribe, learn, and prepare. Because awareness isn't fear, it's power.
对面公路安完，那边房子都直接。
This was not just rain, it was a relentless downpour, battering streets, homes, and the entire infrastructure, overwhelming every surface it touched. By mid-September, the intensity of the storm system had exceeded Beijing's flood control capabilities, from the city center to the suburban belts. The sponge city systems designed to absorb moderate flooding could not withstand the massive volume of water. Retention ponds overflowed, permeable pavements failed to absorb the runoff, and underground drainage systems were clogged with rainwater as rivers like the Yangding swelled dangerously close to overflowing. Across 25 monitored rivers, water levels had surpassed safe limits. Chaos unfolded on the streets within minutes. Underpasses turned into water traps. Subway entrances became gushing wells, flooding platforms and halting all transit. Vehicles were abandoned in rising waters, which climbed above curbs in minutes and continued to rise. Commercial districts, residential zones, and major traffic arteries were all submerged. The city's concrete and asphalt proved powerless against the vertical flood pouring from the sky. Beyond the urban grid, the mountains surrounding Beijing were affected in a different way. In Manugu and Funan, rugged areas on the city's western edge, saturated soils triggered dangerous flash floods and rapid runoff. Heavy rain pounded the mountain slopes, forming torrents that surged downhill at terrifying speed. Natural streams swelled into full-blown torrents, feeding directly into already overburdened city channels. What made this flood even more devastating was not only the sheer volume, but also the speed. Short, intense bursts of rain, ranging from 30 to 70 millimeters, created gaps in the city's drainage system. With nowhere for the water to go, it simply rose, turning low-lying districts into shallow lakes. Within hours, sections of Beijing's highways, public parks, and urban plazas were submerged, some with water deep enough to be considered wastewater. The scientific cause behind the flood was a perfect storm of extreme climatic factors. A prolonged heat wave had warmed the city's surface and lower atmosphere, creating ideal conditions for severe thunderstorms. Warm, moisture-laden air trapped over the capital triggered clouds that dumped massive amounts of water in a very short period. The combination of high ground temperatures and saturated skies turned Beijing into a funnel for atmospheric moisture.
对面公路安完，那边房子的这个。 俺上来好高哦。
Emergency measures were deployed swiftly, but pushed to their limits. A Level 4 flood alert was activated at the very start of the event. Drainage teams worked around the clock with water pumps, yet struggled to keep pace with the enormous volume of water. At key intersections, stormwater lifted manhole covers off the ground, traffic came to a complete standstill, and entire neighborhoods went dark as substations shut down to prevent electrocution. Authorities tried to divert flows to rural areas, but even those were quickly overwhelmed. Beijing's built environment, modern, vertical, and complex, became a vulnerability. Underground malls, tunnels, basements, and parking structures flooded in a domino effect.对面公路安完，那边房子的这个。
clock, but could barely keep pace.
The world changing disasters are no longer rare, they are reality. You cannot predict the next earthquake, flood, or wildfire, but you can choose how ready you are. This channel isn't just here to inform, it's here to wake people up before it's too late. So if you're watching this now, take it as a sign. Don't just scroll, don't just watch, subscribe, learn, and prepare, because awareness isn't fear, it's power.